again, and welcome back to Club Scene. I'm Brian Smith, and we're here again to look at another of Atlanta's neighborhood pubs. This time we're standing on one of the back streets of Buckhead, Canes Hill Place, at Churchill Arms, a true British pub. The pub itself was named for that great man himself, Sir Winston Churchill, and as Mr. Churchill was half American, so Churchill Arms manages to cater to both American and British interests. In Great Britain, a pub is more than a place to have an ale. It is, as the name implies, a true public house. There, you're just as likely to find the local vicar as you are the plumber. But enough description from out here. Let's go on inside and see the bar. Once inside, you feel as though you've been transformed to the shores of England. The photographs and regalia provide a glimpse of England's past and present. And there are probably more pictures of the Queen here than anywhere else in Georgia. It's not by accident that Churchill Arms resembles a British pub. It was actually modeled after a pub called the White Horse in Canterbury, England. Modeled, that is, right down to this replica 16th century fireplace. With me now is Arthur Mitchell, the proprietor of Churchill Arms. And Arthur, can you say a little bit about the heritage of the club and why Churchill Arms?
Well, basically, Brian, I thought it was a wonderful name for a pub. Churchill himself had such a varied and wide career. He was a great Englishman. He was, of course, by virtue of his mother's birthplace in New York, the great Jenny Jerome, who married Lord Randolph Churchill. He was half American. He was a wonderful man, as we all know. He was a soldier, journalist, war leader, prime minister, painter, orator, journalist. There was wit, and I thought that when I opened this little pub, I think that the name Churchill would evoke many good feelings. And he also liked a glass of brandy, of course. Mm-hmm. But his American connections were so strong. His mother, and also, of course, in 1963, he was made the first honorary American citizen, that I thought that it would evoke a spark of empathy and affection among many people, and I think it has.
Well, back to this beautiful fireplace. As I said before, it's a replica 16th century, but yeah, tell me more about it.
The fireplace is an exact replica of a pub just outside of Canterbury in England. It's named the White Horse in Chilham. So if anybody ever goes to Canterbury, and it's worth a trip out to see this lovely old pub. And we copied their fireplace. It used to be my local pub that I go to on Sunday mornings. But a funny thing happened. A lady came in here that had just returned from England several years ago, and walked in and looked at this, and she had the look of déjà vu, a rather stunned look. And she came over to me and she said, "I've seen this before." And she said, "I can't quite put it." And I said, "Have you been to Chilham, just outside of Canterbury?" She said, "I've just come from there." And she said, of course, well, a week ago I was sitting having a glass of sherry in this very pub in England, and here I am in Atlanta, and going through exactly the same, you know, it's exact replica. So I suppose that we must have done it exactly.
And she'll be a true love of mine.
Well, we both know Arthur, and Arthur occasionally will come in here and just enjoy the atmosphere, and people come up and sing. It's very spontaneous that way.
John is a professional. I'm not. He is gracious enough to let me come up and harmonize with him occasionally when he's playing around town. But I first met Arthur when I was doing what you were doing. I interviewed him once about the pub when I was covering nightlife for a while for WSB Radio years ago and everything. And I came here. I did it because I had been coming here regularly and fell in love with the place and said, we got to tell more people about this pub. And that was, Lord, 7 or 8 years ago.
She once was a true love of mine.
weekend evenings from 9 p.m. on, the club comes alive with the voices of all the regulars. They're singing both American and British folk songs, and it's all under the direction of Miss Betty Bolander, the resident pianist.
Well, if you can believe, I have been here 7.5 years. That means every Friday and Saturday night. And the reason I keep coming back is that I just truly love, well, I've always loved to play piano, and I've always loved to play for people to sing. I don't like to play just background music. I like involvement, and that has always been my work, either in hospital recreation or military or student union work. And here I have it here every weekend, and the dynamics are different each weekend, you know, different crowd, and you try to see how you can get them involved. It's a struggle sometimes, but it's just a challenge.
Regular attraction on Monday nights is the Atlanta Peachtree Barbershop Chorus. After a hard night's rehearsal, they come to drink and serenade those who will listen. And of course, you have no choice but to listen.
Still top step, for I just got from Santa Claus a ticket to Atlanta, cause that's
Atlanta Peachtree Chorus has been in business 31 years. It's our 31st annual show coming up in April. And we're members of the Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America.
Well, I'm just delighted, Brian. They've been coming here for many years. It seems like forever. I think in actual fact it's about 6 years. They're all delightful men. They sing very well. They do a great deal of work for charity. And I'm very, very proud and very happy that they so much enjoy coming here.
And I know I'll feel much better when I get to Old Loretta. Back to Atlanta, GA.
As with all neighborhood pubs, it's the regulars who make the difference. 75 to 80% of Arthur's customers are semi-permanent fixtures here.
An Englishman's dinner is roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. With an English pub, it's low oak beams, fireplace, darts, a jovial host, and a happy atmosphere. This is one of the very few I find here in Atlanta or even in Georgia. To me, it is an English pub.
There's all sorts who come in here. You've got the English who come in here, and sometimes you'll get the Irish who are coming in here too, you know. But,
sort of a sing-along sort of type crowd.
The sing-along type of crowd, yes.
One thing missing from Churchill Arms that you'll find in every pub in Great Britain is the time bell, that rude reminder that in fact it is time to go home. Since this is the case, I'm off to join the rest of the crowd, but before I do, I'd like to thank George Faulkner and Arthur Mitchell for their help in making Club Scene a reality. Cheers, have a good night. Hey!
I wonder who's kissing her now.
What a great evening.
Okay, let's keep moving around. We're going to have singing.